Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Prairie Podcast. Today, I'm super excited to have you join us today. No matter where you're coming from, whether it's from the Three Hills region or beyond, whether you have a close connection with Prairie or maybe a distant one, doesn't matter because we've got an exciting guest with us today that I'm happy to have here and to hear from him. His name is Andrew, same as my name, Andrew.
Absolutely. The
So that
meeting of the minds today. Yeah, you
so we'll be
betcha.
set to go. So why don't you tell us a bit about who you are, Andrew? Give us
Absolutely.
the background.
Absolutely. So I'm Andrew Peters.
Yep.
I've been here since 91, a prairie kid. My dad's been on staff up until this year. He's retiring, Kevin Peters, for 30 or more years.
Mhm.
So I grew up here and chose to raise my family with my beautiful wife, Rachel, here in Three Hills. And yeah, so I came through the whole prairie system, elementary school and high school. And then, yeah, chose to run our business, Down to Earth Landscapes, out of Three Hills.
Excellent, certainly.
Yeah.
So down to earth. Tell
Mhm.
us a bit about that. What are you guys doing? What's the business all about?
Yeah, what are we about? Yeah, so we've been around for 15 years now, and it kind of basically came out of an idea of wanting to do my own thing. I guess I've always had the spirit of entrepreneurship, and so that's always been in me. And I was in the oil field for years before that, and did some carpentry when we were first married. But really, it didn't fulfill me, and so we chose to have we were given the opportunity to purchase a few bobcats,
Okay.
and I was working the oil field at the same time as trying to do my side hustle, I guess they call it now,
The,
not that
the nowadays,
the
yeah.
nowadays the side hustle. And it got to the point where my better half said, you know what, it's getting so busy that you're not getting any time off, right? And with five little kids at home and starting a family, we had to choose.
Mhm.
And so, with the spirit of entrepreneurship, we jumped into it.
Yep.
And for 15 years, we've been providing landscape construction services for
Okay.
commercial clients. And that's grown and morphed into landscape maintenance for commercial clients, such as Prairie. We've been looking after the college snow and summer for about a decade now.
Yep.
And then also, as we've been growing, we've added an arboriculture division to
Okay.
it. So we've got a certified arborist on staff and a bucket truck and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it's morphed into this thing where we've provide environmental construction services to pretty much we've go all over Alberta.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
you betcha. And we've grown to about 15 staff, give or take, depending on the time of year. And so yeah, that's kind of who we are.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. It gives us some good insight
Yeah, you
to what
bet.
you're doing with Down to Earth there. And it's fascinating to hear some of the history and how it's grown there.
Hmm.
Because you've had 15 years of experience with the business, looking after it there. I'm curious, what's been your favorite part? Do you have a story or two,
Yeah,
some things you've really enjoyed?
absolutely. So I love nature. I love trees. I love equipment,
Yep.
that kind of thing. But more than any of that, I love people.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize it when we first started. Like we
Huh.
kind of started out of not desperation, but like you just get into it of like, I gotta try this. We're gonna grind and do this. And um I did it out of a love for like those things of the equipment and that kind of thing, right? It's something that I had some talent in, and so that's where I was pushing. But as we've morphed and we've grown, I've realized that more than anything, I love building the team.
Hmm.
Um, we're nothing without the people that are around us, right? And um, that really gets me energized throughout the day and on a week to week basis, year to year basis. When I can look back and see all the different people. We have a lot of college students that
Yep.
work for us in the summer and stuff. And so following them on their journeys from the college and seeing how God's using them and how we were a part of that,
Yep.
right? And financially and just uh, in a way that we can provide jobs from through the summer, right?
Mhm.
So, and even having now non-believers come on staff and that kind of thing on how we can really uh, nurture a relationship with them that they can see God through the work that we do,
Yep.
right? And so more than anything, it's the team that we have, and
Hmm.
I am so blessed to have the crew that we do. And
Yep.
we're all human; we all make mistakes, but uh, it's a blessing to have those people that work with us.
Certainly.
So,
And it sounds like a good time there with a good crew.
mhm.
It's really encouraging to hear that. Okay, so we've heard a little bit about Down to Earth and the history from that and some of the
Yeah.
things you enjoy in that. I want to turn this back to you a little bit,
Yeah.
Andrew. I'd be curious to kind of hear what's your testimony? What's the story? You know,
Yeah.
you've shared bits and pieces, but I'm curious to hear from the faith side of things. What's the background been? What's the journey been like?
Absolutely. So growing up a prairie kid,
Yep.
right? Kind of in that Christian bubble,
Yep.
I guess, right? In Three Hills that we know is there.
Yeah.
Right. So I had a great set of parents and grandparents in the lineage and the Christian lineage that
Mhm.
surrounded me as I grew up.
Yep.
I've been a Christian, since I was very little. I can't remember the day that focal point of when I became a Christian, but it's always been a part of me.
Mm.
And the church and the college and our family has always been a huge influence on my life and my wife and our kids as well, growing up in this community. And that's why we chose to stay, is
Mm.
to be able to have that opportunity in this community to grow our children and our
Yeah.
family. And But like a lot of people, I would say that my faith really wasn't mine
Yeah.
through junior high, high school, and even into my early college years and stuff like that. Uh, I was definitely a believer, but I wasn't on fire,
Mhm.
right? Or I didn't have that passion because I don't know, it was just always there,
Yep.
right? Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
That makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, you bet. So, but as we've my wife and I have had our family and we're growing, it really has become more and more of our own.
Yep.
The faith is our own, and and actually, it's one of those things that I was only baptized when I was 39 or
Mm.
40, right? So
Yeah.
it's always been a lingering thing in my life
Yeah.
that I should do this, but it was almost like that apathetic nature of in that Christian community. I know who I am in Christ, right? But I didn't take it as my own.
Mm.
And seeing my kids grow and then teaching them, right? And directing them. And, we more than anything, it's not by what we say, it's by what we do.
Yep.
Right. And that really caught me.
Mm.
And and uh and I said, Lord, why am I not doing the things that I say? Right.
Mm.
So that's why I took that step. And
Yep.
I mean, it took a long time for me to get there, right?
Mhm.
But we did it. And um even the recognition of that and living that out in business like we're talking about and in the family life, I've noticed more and more or realized more and more um the grace that God has given,
Mm.
and I didn't ask for any of this,
Yep.
right? And but He showered us with blessings with family and with business and
Mm.
security in that way. And so I would say in the last 5 to 10 years, it's really become more of my own,
Mm.
and the realization that it's not because of me,
Yeah.
right? Not like extremely blessed, right?
Certainly. Well, thanks for sharing that and giving
Yeah,
us
you
a
bet.
bit of a heart into that. And you know, I think it's a good story because I don't doubt there's a lot of people who kind of feel similarly or have grown up
Absolutely.
in similar situations, and kind of hearing from you gives some perspective into that.
Hmm.
It's really encouraging to hear that. So thanks for saying that.
You
Okay,
bet.
so you've got some of this background here. Kind of recent years, there's been this reigniting or this considering, am I doing what I'm saying, and how does that live out? And you mentioned a little bit about that impacting your work, and you've brought some stuff up.
Yeah.
I'm curious if we can kind of tie these things together now and hear from you down to earth, your faith.
Hmm.
What's going on there? How does that mesh? How is that impacting your work there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I mentioned before, it's more not what I'm saying, but how I'm living and how I'm running the business, right?
Yeah.
And how I'm reacting and dealing with those problem situations when times get tough with employees,
Hmm.
when we have disagreements, and then also how we're living our faith out with the contracts that we have, with the clientele that we have.
Yeah.
Everything with integrity,
Hmm.
right? Living through that integrity. We want to be known for something different as Christians, right? They should know that there's something different within us. And I really feel like at Down to Earth,
Hmm.
our clients, even though we're not, you know, we're providing a service that's not a faith-based service, but there is what we're the values that we have are faith-based,
Yep.
right? And they should, I always tell my guys, like they should see something different in Down to Earth when they're on site.
Mm.
And we have non-believers on our crew,
Yep.
so whether that's Christ that they see is different, but like the integrity and the values that we have
Yep.
are faith-based,
Okay.
right? And so for me, leading that team, which I love
Yep.
and I get energy from, um, it really keeps me on my toes for making sure that I have people watching,
Yep.
right? And
Hmm.
we all have people watching, and whether we like it or not,
Yep.
they're sorry, they're creating this identity of you, whether that's your true identity or not,
Yeah.
right?
They're making a
They're
perception of
making
you.
that exactly. They're making that perception. And what's that perception gonna be?
Hmm.
Right. So, and it takes so little for us to create a poor, right? One
Exactly.
slip up, those kinds of things, then all
Yeah,
of a sudden people
that's
from the
true.
outside are seeing that, right? So I think that's what I've been really challenged with lately,
Hmm.
is ensuring that I'm a consistent leader,
Yep.
and that through the work that we do, through the people that we have, um, we can create a community that's supportive, right? And I talk about, being that difference for those clients that we have, but also for the people that are within our group, right? When we bring a lot of people, new people in that may not have faith, right? That may be wandering, that may be struggling. Like my goal is I would love for them to think, man, there's something different with that boss. There's something different with my foreman or with my office manager or whatever. Like,
Hmm.
what is that? Right?
Yep. Exactly. I think it's a great way of thinking about that. Is your actions make a big impact,
They
and
absolutely
I
do.
really like what you said about people make perceptions of you. They make impressions of you about your personality, about your character,
Yeah,
whether you want it or not.
absolutely.
And so being able to think about that and
Yeah.
actually consider how are my actions being taken, I think
Right.
that's really great.
Yeah. And I always like something that I can't remember how the John Wooden quote goes, but it was I love John Wooden. He's a
Yeah.
famous basketball coach. And I can't remember exactly how it goes, but he says, you only need to be worried about your character, not about your reputation, because your reputation is what other people think of you.
Hmm.
If your character is true in what you're doing within Christ,
Yeah.
right? Then that will truly shine through. And as a business owner, like it's really hard because people do create perceptions of you,
Yeah.
right? And of, oh, well, he did this or he didn't do that, or, people think you're like extremely wealthy or extremely poor, all these different
Yeah.
things and you're like, no, I'm just a guy, right? And um, I can't worry about what all those little things are, right?
Mhm.
If I'm walking in step with the Lord,
Yeah.
right? And really trying to run my business and lead my family
Mhm.
in step with what he is calling me to do,
Mhm.
I've got security in that,
Yeah.
right?
Certainly.
And we can't listen to the noise that's around us because there's so much noise,
Yeah.
right? And so that's something that really is hit me
Hmm.
lately is
Okay.
I be strong with who I am
Yeah.
and confident in Christ and in my values. And we mess up all the time, right? But it's how we deal with those things,
Exactly.
right?
And that will shine through there.
Exactly.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
So, kind of in light of what you're talking about here, and I really appreciate what you have to say about the importance of character and how
Mhm.
that is perceived by others, but it's important just living out your character and confidence in Christ. I'm curious some of your thoughts, or maybe lining up some of these values in your business. Were there particular influences that led you down that path? Maybe people such as your father, or maybe stepping into the role as a father yourself,
Mhm.
and maybe you just want to elaborate further on that.
Yeah, you bet. Like we discussed, like my dad's a very people person, being a professor for so long, and I think I really gained those values and those characteristics from him.
Yeah.
And I do. I love being around people. I love leading people. I love trying to get the best out of people, right? And it makes me so happy when I can see me push some of the people on our team
Hmm.
to really go for more, get out of their comfort zone,
Yeah.
right? And that kind of thing. So I think as it's grown, like you say, as a father
Yeah.
and as a leader on a team at Down to Earth, I would say that the influences really would be um, there no particular person or anything like that, but just the desire and the motivation to see people grow,
Yeah.
I guess,
Eh,
if in a roundabout way, I guess that's kind of yeah,
Yeah.
no
Exactly.
particular person, I guess, or anything like that.
No. Exactly. And that's okay. And it's just I think it's helpful understanding. There's things, there's values, or maybe things you've read,
Mhm.
or different roles stepping into
Yeah.
that kind of impact you as you grow.
Yeah. Yeah,
think
you
that's really
bet. So, and I love to listen to a lot of podcasts and ebooks and stuff. I'm not a big reader,
yeah.
like actual page turner reader, but I have a lot of behind the wheel seat time in my truck.
Yes, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, you bet. So I put on a lot of K, and so I really am I guess I would be a leadership junkie.
Yep.
Like when he's talking about, you know, all these guys that have those kind of podcasts, like the Dave Ramsey's, Craig Groeschel, Andy Stanley's, all those
Yep.
kind of
Yep.
guys that have really helped me to see where I can grow as a leader
Mhm.
and to help push everyone around me, right, to
Certainly.
grow.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's really cool. That's really awesome. And yeah, I mean, being behind the wheel for a while is a great opportunity to put it in an audiobook or podcast. I'm with you.
It absolutely. And sometimes the best thing to do is to turn it all off,
That's also true.
right? And then have that quiet time
Yeah, exactly.
and getting away from it. But
Certainly.
yeah.
And I think sometimes we get caught so much in the busyness or the
Yeah.
distraction, we don't have time for quiet. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Okay, and it
Absolutely.
makes me think, okay, thinking of the quiet time, and kind of and drawing near to God, and once again, maybe a bit more personal to you, maybe even outside of the
Yeah.
business. I love hearing from people. What is something that God has been teaching you lately? Maybe it's in those quiet moments. Is there something that God's been reminding you of or encouraging you?
Yeah. Reminding me of, I am not in control, right? Like, not at all. And I'm a steward of Down to Earth. I'm a steward of my family that he's given me. Um, so living my life as every day is a gift,
Hmm.
right? And
Yep.
a responsibility as well to steward the people that are around me, whether it's family or business wise, and also just to be thankful.
Mhm.
Like we have so much to be thankful
Yep.
for, right? The blessings that
Terrific.
we have in my kids and my wife and grandparents and family around us. The lineage that we have is incredible,
Mhm.
and just kind of slow down sometimes and just thank the Lord for what we do have, right?
Yep.
And there's the day-to-day stresses of making payroll, of where the guy's going today, right? Complaining client, whatever it may be. But if I were to look on entrepreneurship and running a company on a day-to-day basis, I would go crazy,
Yeah.
right? But when I look back over 15 years, uh, it's amazing. Hindsight is that 2020, right?
Mhm.
And knowing that um, God's given me blessings that I never asked for, right?
Mhm.
And to be a steward of those blessings and to take it as a responsibility that He wants something more,
Yep.
right? Not just for me, but for Down to Earth and for my family and for my kids.
Exactly.
And so I think that's pretty neat.
That is.
Yeah, you bet. It's humbling
Uh-huh.
and all of that, but yeah.
Yeah, and then it's a neat observation there, or a neat reminder about being grateful for the
Mhm.
things around us, and then also just a reminder about stewardship and that
Yeah,
God's given you things to look after. So,
absolutely.
well, thank you for sharing that with us, Andrew, and thank
Absolutely.
you for sharing everything with us here on the
Yeah,
podcast
absolutely. It
today.
was a pleasure.
Of
This was
course,
fun.
I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah.
Before we end off, do you have any final thoughts for our listeners? Anything else you want to get out on air?
Oh, just like lay it all out.
Just get it out.
Okay. You know what the biggest thing is as I was kind of preparing for this, and I've reiterated it. Uh, we've gone over it already, but is just gratefulness,
Hmm.
uh, and to step back and to slow down and to uh, thank the Lord for the blessings that He's given.
Mhm.
So that would
Awesome.
be my big thing.
Perfect. Okay, and if anybody wanted to learn more about Down to Earth or get in contact with you, where do they go?
Absolutely, downtoearthlandscapes.ca.
Okay,
Absolutely.
down
So
to earthlandscapes.ca.
dot .ca
Perfect.
or on Instagram. I
Okay.
don't even know what my Instagram handle is. I don't know.
But you can probably find it by
Too
looking up
old
Down
for
to
that.
Earth.
Yeah, you can look up Down to Earth. Yeah, give us a
Yeah.
ring if you're a expert landscaper and need a job. We're always
Perfect.
looking for great team members.
There we go.
So
That's
how's
awesome.
that? Yeah,
That's
my little
perfect.
plug.
That's exactly it. So make sure
Sweet.
all of you check out Down to Earth. If you want to learn more about Prairie College as well, the people hosting this podcast, you can head to our website, www.prairie.edu, or head to our social media as well to find other podcasts. So thank you so much, Andrew, for
Awesome.
joining us. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Anytime.